Good afternoon, welcome back to the shop everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to go from an ordinary 1x6 to this wine bottle holder. Okay, so this is just kind of the length that I chose. This is 16.5. It is the length of my bottle plus about, I think it was 5 or 6 inches. This is all off the cuff. I have no plan whatsoever. This is a rough length because I'm going to have to miter this afterwards. I got to figure out what angle I want. I think that a 45 probably is my best bet, simply because one, I don't have the best miter saw in the world, and two, I don't have a good miter saw. Or got this and I want it to sit about like that. That means I need to make a cut right in here somewhere. This is a 1x6, so that means it's actually 5.5 inches wide. So half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So let's make a little tick mark there at 2 3/4. And normally I would just lay it out, but since how material thickness is never exact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my mark this way, but then I'm going to get a piece of the material that I'm cutting and lay it on there because I want this to be fairly tight. And again, this is that same tool I reviewed last week. The cool thing, I didn't even put this in the review. At the very end of it, it's got a little groove for a pencil, or in my case a pen because I can't find a pencil, where you can do that. So let's make sure our mark's right. 2 3/4. 2 3/4, right on the money. So I know I want the one end to be right here, but I got to get the other one. So I'm going to use my board as a marking gauge, and I'm going to cut it a little bit shy of my mark. Okay, let's cut this up. Let's check our progress here, and beautiful. So I'll take and get a chisel and kind of clean this up a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next step. So all these measurements are just random numbers that I've come up with, just what I think will look visually pleasing. So the other one was 16.5. This one I figured about 12.5. Something to think about though, if you do one of these, if there's knots, make sure, because on this side we're going to drill a hole for the bottle to go through and sit in, so we don't want a knot hole where we're going to have to drill. So bottle's about 3 inches wide. It looks like we got about 7.5, 8 inches somewhere right here that where a knot is. So our notch will be somewhere right in here. It should be okay. If not, we'll just make another one. But it's going to look like this. So now I got to lay out my cut on this board to match this. which that's easy enough. So I'm not even gonna measure it. We're just gonna take and eyeball it, make sure everything is square. I do want to try to get it as nice as I can. So there's a tick mark there, tick mark there. I did a little video on these the other day. This is what I bought them for. This is, let me get the box here and I'll show you. This is a set of Forstner bits that I got at Harbor Freight. Anyway, I laid this out, so let's see how these things do. And yes, it'd be better if I had a drill press, but I don't have one, and if somebody wants to donate one, I'd be willing to take it. That's not too bad, no tear out. All right, so let's see how we did. It's not as good as I'd like, but that's the only size I've got that's big enough. This hole really should have been 1 1/4 inches. The set of bits I've got goes from 1 inch to 1 3/8. There's no 1 1/4 inches. Thankfully, we do leather work, which will be one of the things we're going to be adding to our website, some of our bags and whatnot. But I just took a piece of leather, and yeah, it looks kind of rough on this. This is just a prototype. So I've decided to do what's called shou sugi. It's a Japanese technique of preserving wood. I'm going to do my own little flair on it. Usually what I do is I heat the knot holes up first. But we're just charring the wood. We don't want to burn it. We just want to get it really, really dark. If it catches on fire, just blow it out. Or it's good to keep a bottle of water or something handy just in case. I'm going really, really slow. Just keep the torch moving. And you can go as dark or as light as you want on this. I mean, you can just do like that and just have a real light toast. I want it to be almost black, and it looks black now, but we got another step we're going to do to it after we're done. We're going to sand it or take a wire brush or something and get all the loose char off. So it'll be a little bit lighter than this. So I'm going a little bit heavier than I think I need. To me, I call that the tuna steak look, because that looks like a really good tuna steak that's been cooked too much. But ideally, you want a brass brush, but I don't have one. I'm going to get some gloves on just so I don't get this black stuff all over my hands. So I'm just real lightly going to take and go over this with this brush. So as you can see, it's quite a bit lighter now. In the light, it's actually a really nice chocolatey brown. So I'm really good with that. So I think what I'm going to do, I haven't decided if I'm going to oil this or wax it. I've got some paste wax here, but I may, let's see what kind of oil I've got. I think I'm going to do some tung oil on it first, and then I'll do, first of all, I'm going to wipe this all down. I've already done a shot back, but still need to wipe it down because you still will get black stuff all over you. I'm going to fix this to where I don't have to fight this next time. Well, if I can get it off first, I'll do it after I get it off. This is a brand new can of oil. I don't know why it's... Show y'all what you do. Don't do this if you got wee ones around that can get into stuff. But us older folks, we don't need safety caps. So I just take and cut that off like that. Then I can open it. I'll probably should wipe this down a little bit more, but I'm just going to pour a little bit on here. Whoop. Okay, maybe a little bit more than a little bit, but it'll drink it in. It will drink it in because it's all dried out now. Although I'm saying that as it's spilling on the floor. So as you can see, it's soaking it all up and it looks really, really cool. I like the look of this technique. From what I understand, they do this in Japan, or traditionally they would do this in Japan to keep, to make it weatherproof, make wood siding on houses weatherproof, and it also kept pests, bugs and stuff from eating into it. I guess they don't like the charcoal flavor. I kind of doubt they rubbed their house down with oil, but they might. I don't know if you're from Japan or have been to Japan or know about shou or however you pronounce it. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I don't want to offend anybody. Let me know in the comments. Do they rub it down with oil or do they just leave it natural? I've seen naysayers on the internet, on YouTube, saying it's a farce or whatever, but I've worked in chemical plants and I've seen proof of it. You get a rag like this, especially with one of these that get hard and cures of oil, lay it flat so it can dissipate the heat and not catch your house on fire. I've had this saw stand for, oh gosh, probably 15 years maybe. So Black & Decker Firestorm, I think is what it says underneath there. You know, I wouldn't take a pretty for that because it's a universal one. When I get a new saw, I can mount it on here, but this thing is handy if you do like trim carpentry, which I don't do anymore, but it's still, since I don't have a proper miter saw station or whatever, so I keep a rag in here. Just this stuff, I put it on the table of my bandsaw, and anything that's will rust, and it just helps keep it from rusting and makes everything smooth, slide really well. I put it on the ways of my lathe, my wood lathe, which I don't have set up right now, but I need to get it set up because I need to turn some pins. I could do it on my metal lathe, but it just didn't set up for that. Would you all like to see some pins being made? Let me know in the comments. This wax will wear off over time. This isn't a hard wax. I think I'm gonna order some and try my hand at using it. I've never used it. I see a lot of people on YouTube singing its praises, and I like the way it looks. So I think I might order some. There's several different brands out there, and Amazon's got some that's not crazy expensive. Some of that, the Osmo comes to mind, is pretty expensive. So there you have it, a wine bottle holder out of part of a 1x6. I lost some of the footage, so this is just the final view. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.